Absolutely amazing. Welcome back to Sunrise. Thank you so much for waking us up with us, as we're always here with you. If today is your birthday, happy birthday to you.
It's my nephew's birthday.
Oh, nice.
Today.
What's his name?
Dennis. Long story.
Oh,
his name is Dennis.
Hi, Dennis.
Morning.
Happy birthday. Good morning.
We call him Julio. That's
Julio,
his middle name.
Julio.
Yeah, yesterday was my brother's birthday,
Oh,
Lucien. Good morning
nice.
again.
Hi, Lucien.
He's quite unwell. The flu, the same flu. Yeah. But big up yourself. You know, get well soon.
Get well soon.
Get well soon.
And if you're celebrating your anniversary, happy anniversary to you as well. If you're also celebrating the fact that maybe, you know, you got a good night's sleep because you didn't snore or your partner didn't snore, let me tell you.
Or one of you were in the living room.
Yes, and one was in the other room, you know, good morning to you. Now, you know that, well, that very harsh sound, right? I've been taped snoring.
Oh, I've been taped many times.
Because for whatever reason, Dennis, you notice anytime anybody asks you, you snore? No, I don't snore. No, I don't.
I do.
And then you get the tape with the sounds.
Wow.
And you're like, wow, that's wild. Who is that? That's you. Yeah, actually. And let me tell you, many of us, we snore and we disturb the entire neighborhood. We disturb the entire household. But we have help. Help is on the way. And we have a wake-up call for you this morning. And, you know, it's all about this gentleman here, right here on our show this morning. He is a respiratory therapist. His name is Gregory Arneaud, and he joins us to uncover the ugly truth of why we snore. He's also here to share some tips as to how we can improve our sleep experience and don't disturb everyone. Good morning, Gregory. Welcome to Sunrise. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. And yourself?
Gregory, you snore?
Well, every once in a while I'm told I do. Well, we all snore at some point. You know, when we're really, really tired or when we have a couple of drinks, we tend to have a more relaxed airway space and more vibrational sounds. But if you have habitual snoring where you've been to the point where you're getting taped, yeah, it's time to take a look into that.
But talk to me about why do we snore? Because when you were in your teens, most of us were not snoring. The snoring really starts like in your 20s or 30s. Where did the snoring come from and why do we snore?
Well, snoring's been around since the beginning of time. I would tell you that snoring will develop over the years if you are having issues with enlarged tonsils or enlarged adenoids, if you have excessive mass around the chin and jawline and your neck area, if you are drinking alcohol, taking sedatives, or maybe sleeping in a position wherein that because of gravity, your tongue and the soft tissue starts sliding backward into the airway when those muscles are relaxed, and you get that vibrational harmony of
oh my God,
between these breaths.
But Gregory, but some people snore while they're on their stomach.
True. If you're having obstructive sleep apnea, it doesn't really matter what position you sleep in, and it would definitely be a nuisance to for your spouse or your partners, obviously, if you're making these noise and gasping and choking. But you know, the most important thing is that this can be treated. You can stop the snoring. You can obviously stop all the risk factors associated to this as well.
What are those risk factors?
Well, snoring also is a symptom of sleep apnea, a condition that plagues more than 1 billion people worldwide. There's probably about a good 1 million people here in Jamaica that suffer from sleep apnea and don't even know it. It does increase your body weight, it does increase your blood pressure, causes you to have issues with diabetes, cardiovascular risk of heart attacks and strokes. The dirty word of ED, erectile dysfunction in men, and mental stress with anxiety, depression, and even not able to stay awake at certain times, like even while driving or at work. So it's pretty serious.
Wow.
It is.
So snoring is not just, you know, laughing at the person. You're saying, Gregory, that this could be indicative of other health issues manifesting in the snoring. Exactly. So you mentioned sleep apnea. What is the difference between snoring? So how do I know if I'm just a snorer or if I have sleep apnea?
Well, if you're an occasional snorer, every once in a while, if you're really tired, like we talked about, maybe had a couple to drink and you're snoring, that's pretty much acceptable. Maybe sometimes even when you're having a cold or the flu, you have some congestion there. But if you're a habitual snorer, pretty much 5 to 6, 7 times a week, if you're getting your spouse to the point where they're taping you, if you are obviously causing yourself to realize that, you know what, you can't stay alert, you're dozing off at the traffic lights, or your weight is becoming uncontrollable, or your mind's a little bit foggy in the morning with headaches and dry mouth, those are all the symptoms of sleep apnea.
Wow.
Pretty much the writing's on the wall. You know, the best way to deal with it is go see a medical professional and address it by having a sleep study test.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So, when it comes to now, say for example, the CPAP machine, some persons have that. It's noisy. It can be a bit noisy. Talk to me about where those machines are at this time.
Well, CPAP has come a long way through innovation and technology. The CPAPs are as small as the palms of your hands. It's about 2 or 3 pounds. makes absolutely no noise at all, and your
What
spouse.
does it do?
Well, it provides positive airway pressure. Just a little bit of air, similar to like a fan, just blowing air into the nostrils or into the nose and or mouth, creating some pressure in the back of the throat area, keeping the stimulation of the airway open, patent, so that therefore there's no rattling of the palate, and ensuring that you're breathing in and out as you should is the way you do while you're awake.
So, okay, so for those of us who have been down this road before, the next question I would say is like, okay, you have to go in, and register to sleep overnight at a medical facility
yeah.
or something like that, and they string you up and all of that. So, I mean, and that is where some people stop because it's just, they just can't bother.
Too much.
Well, those days are over.
Oh, nice.
Due to technology, we can sleep in the convenience of your own beds, monitor your heart rhythm, your oxygen level, determine if you're having apneas, times where your breathing stops for longer than 10 seconds or more, or drops in your oxygen level, which are called hypopneas, that indicate, obviously, the severity of the condition. You can take a little test. It's covered by your Sagicor, your Guardian, Canopy health insurance providers, and we work directly with one of the leading pulmonologists here, Dr. Terry Baker, that will prescribe this particular testing option, which would be this little sensor.
Okay.
And all you do is place your finger on the sensor. There are a few bandage straps here that you tie it on like a Band-Aid. It connects to your Bluetooth on your app, and it sends the results right to the doctor as soon as you wake up in the morning. You can do this for multiple nights to get an idea of what your night-to-night variability may look at, and at the same time be able to provide the proper diagnosis and treatment measures.
Oh, this is amazing. So no longer...
This is a huge difference.
Yeah, this is a big deal. So no longer do you have to go to the facility. You're saying we can get this prescribed. So where do we go, Gregory, to say, okay, I need to come in, I want to put on this way now.
Well, you got to be sleeping.
No, well, we don't have to sleep right now. I need to know.
I feel
so
like
where do you go?
that's all the time I have for the show.
So you just put this on. So where do you go to get the prescription? You go to...
So first off, you can come to us on 218 Mountain View Avenue, Suite 103 at the ISD Health Solutions Kingston location. You also can visit us online, isdhealthsolutions.com, get a free sleep consultation, be able to kind of discover and understand a little more what the process looks like. Soon, these devices will be available on your Fontana Pharmacy shelves as we're working towards World Sleep Day on March 14th of this year to introduce and announce some of the collaborative efforts that will be done here in Jamaica and providing more access to these tests. And guess what? The Diabetes Association of Jamaica is going to finally do a research study to determine how diabetes is directly and/or prevalent in persons who have sleep apnea. So there's a lot more to come, and excited to be able to be a part of this initiative.
Well, March is my month. My birthday is March 19th, so that's absolutely awesome. And I would like to take a day to sleep, so I wouldn't mind that at all. But in the meantime, Gregory, before we get to that, what are some of the things that we can do at home now to just really alleviate some of the snoring, right? Because, yeah, it's the noise, but it's also the health risks, because when your airway is blocked off and there's no oxygen getting to your brain for a minute, there's no oxygen flowing through your body, that in and of itself is very problematic. And a lot of the illnesses that we have or that manifest is as a result of the snoring. So before we're gonna get that, but before we do, what can we do? What measures can we implement at home to try to start the process to being healthy and safer?
Well, the thing is that if you already know that you have all the symptoms, you should seek medical advice. But in the interim, as you're trying to maybe get through a few nights prior to that time and help your spouse get to sleep so you're not suffering from sleep divorce where you're having to sleep in different parts of the home, your positioning has a lot to do sometimes with the gravity taking place, your tongue falling back into the airway. So maybe sleeping on your sides could be a good way to address it. Also, nasal sprays. If you have congestion, using some nasal sprays. If you at the same time are trying, nasal strips and oral appliance devices to move your jaw, obviously do this under the recommendation or managing of a dentist. These are things that you can do to kind of minimize the snoring. But if the root cause, obviously, is that you stop breathing repeatedly in your sleep, you're starting your fight or flight response because you're suffocating in your sleep and unaware of it, seek medical attention. Don't wait any longer, because the damage is being done each night. Every time you're not getting that oxygen to the body and it's throwing up these spikes in your heart rhythm because of adrenaline and cortisol stress levels increasing, you're wearing your mind and body down, and unfortunately you will pay the consequence at some point later.
I agree, because, Dennis, I wanted Gregory, to come on the show because, or somebody of his expertise, because I know that it is something that plagues a lot of us Jamaicans. And it's just come on, oh, you just snore, I just think it's normal. But I did some research as well to find out that, you know, snoring is not normal, okay? And it is indicative of other things. And so I wanted somebody, a professional, to come and talk about this, because obviously I'm not a doctor. So, you know, I'm in the fields here. So I wanted to say, but wait, let me talk to somebody who can really say, wow, we oftentimes laugh about it, but it's not a laughing matter.
No,
and sometimes when you hear your family member snoring, it's really scary because they literally stop breathing and they and you're like, what is happening? And it can be very, very scary for persons, right? So I noticed you also have your book here, The Wake Up Call. What is that about, and who is this for?
Well, it's for everybody. My parents are from Trinidad and Tobago, and I had a snoring grandmother. As a child, we laughed about it. My brothers and I didn't realize how significant that was to indicate that she could be actually suffocating, as you spoke about, in her sleep. Later to be dealing with dementia and glaucoma and blood pressure issues and weight issues. And I watched her suffer, and then as an adult, when I became a respiratory therapist about 25 years ago, I realized that my grandmother had a very common issue that plagues more than 1 billion people worldwide, but in the Caribbean, due to the lack of the understanding, due to our culture, due to the medical practitioners not actually trained in this space as in different countries, there was very little available or knowledge about this. So I felt as if I needed to leave something, try to make a difference in the space where I could, and become an advocate throughout the Caribbean, jumping from Trinidad to Jamaica, Barbados, Guyana, St. Lucia, Cayman, just about all of the Caribbean, English-speaking territory of the Caribbean, to try to bring this message. And this book is just a wake-up call for all of us to understand, because I almost lost my father, you know, and everyone jokes about snoring, but when you see your father sitting on a bed after a stroke and you're saying, I hope this man could understand this is serious and start the therapy that you need, because we tend to not be proactive about it.
So you're saying that it can be treated?
Oh, yes.
In terms of timelines. So I start the treatment this morning, and it takes, what, 6 months to a year to a what?
The night you start that therapy, it's done. All the airway fluctuations, the drops in oxygen, the increase in heart rhythm, the disruption of your light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep, all of that's gone. You start seeing differences in the very first day. If you're wearing it for 5 to 6, 7 hours throughout the night, quickly you'll start seeing those differences and be on the road to recovery.
Do we take medication for this as well?
Oh, no, no medication was needed for sleep apnea. There are a number of medications coming on the market which are addressing more of the weight-related issues to sleep apnea, but also there's some consequences with dealing with those types of drugs as well. But the most holistic way to deal with it, or maybe a little more evasive than, you know, considering some of the other options, is just keeping the airway pressurized by using a little subtle amount of air through an auto-PAP device or a BiPAP device to allow you to be able to get a convenient night's sleep.
Love that.
All right, thank you
make my
very much.
appointment. I'm going to make my appointment.
No.
But not take me again. Can't take that. Can't live so. I'm not live so. None of the Maroons have died for me to live like that. Live like that. Scandal is real.
It's a sleep divorce issue.
Yeah, the sleep divorce, and you hear what he said?
Yeah.
Sleep divorce, because really and truly, you're going to the next room because you're trying to understand as well, you know, Gregory, and you need to sleep. Yeah. And then sometimes the snoring affects your sleep, so you wake up feeling groggy as well.
Course.
It's a problem, guys, and we need to solve it. It's not normal, and Gregory has told us it can be solved.
It can be solved.
It can be fixed.
It's a wake-up call.
Yes,
Our guest has been Gregory Arneaud, respiratory therapist and founder of and clinical director of ISD Health Solutions. Now, from snoring to exploring in Jamaica, we are Sunrise, and of course, we are coming right back to talk more.
Nice.